anyways, I'm here joined with Youssef.
What's happening, man?
Youssef,
You good?
first boxer on Boxer's Reach.
Cool.
I appreciate it.
Anytime,
Man
man.
of your words, stuck to it. Appreciate you. Pronounce your last name for me because I don't want to get it wrong.
Khourmari.
Khourmari. So Youssef Khourmari,
Yeah.
super featherweight boxer, professional boxer out of Neeson Boxing Club.
That's right. Yep. He's an
Okay.
IQ, so
This is.
Yeah, man.
I don't even want to call this an interview. I just want it to be more of a conversation.
Cool.
So the people can get to know who Youssef is.
Cool.
And get to know the real you. Do you know what I mean?
cool.
So let's start from all the way from the beginning. Tell me, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I've lived in Wembley pretty much my whole life.
Yeah, North West London.
North West London, yeah.
Mm.
Went to school in Wembley.
What school?
I was at Wembley High.
Yeah, I was with you for a year.
Yeah,
Yeah, do you remember me?
yeah. I know, man.
You was in the year above, right?
Yeah, I think I was in year
Yeah.
above, yeah. So yeah, man, literally everything revolved around the area for me. Like I said, I lived there, went to school there.
Mm.
Like, I even played for Wembley FC at one point. So
Football, you was into football as well, yeah?
I played football. Football was,
The main thing.
yeah, my first love, if you put it that way.
Yeah, what position?
I used to play right back.
Right back.
Yeah.
I thought you was centre mid. You got that in the
No,
locker.
I ain't big enough for them positions, man.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, man. But yeah, it's like I used to play for that. Funny enough, that's what led me into boxing.
Football
Was
led
the
you into
football.
boxing.
Yeah.
So what age did you stop playing?
I think I stopped playing football around 9 or 10.
9, 10. Okay.
What it was me as an individual, I'm very competitive,
Okay.
right? And
Don't tell me he's getting into fights on the pitch. And
nah. I was conducting myself well,
Oh, okay.
but it's like I always want to win.
yeah.
And for example, say we'd go to an away game or something and we draw, we'd lose.
Mm.
I'd be on the bus back thinking, right, what did I do wrong? How can I improve myself to do better
Mm.
next week? What do I need to work on? And the rest of the boys just having a laugh in the back, innit, doing whatever.
Okay.
And it got to the point where what's the point in me giving it my all and everyone else is taking the piss? Do you know what I mean?
So you wanted more of an individual sport.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? Let me try something else, innit?
Mm.
And then, me originally being Filipino, Manny Pacquiao burst on the scene at that time, innit?
Mm.
So I thought, you know what? That's what I need to.
So
Let me give that a try, innit?
So Manny Pacquiao's the man that kind of made you think, right, I want to try this out, especially because you're from your country and that.
Yeah.
Well, what was the first Manny Pacquiao fight you saw?
I watched him box Eric Morales the first time.
Mm.
The first fight, he lost, funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually watched that fight in the Philippines. I was on holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that fight in my mum's village, and just to see the draw he has on people.
Mm.
There was this small little TV that must have been built in the 80s,
Mm.
and you had about at least 100 people crowding around it just to see Manny Pacquiao
Serious?
boxing. Yeah. And I thought, you know what, let me give that a try when I get back in it. So got back.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and
So, right, 'cause you went to the Philippines, came back home, said, yeah, I'm gonna give a shot at boxing. Where did you go? How did you find a club? Because back then, now
yeah,
boxing's popular. Everyone wants to do boxing.
yeah.
Back then, there was a handful of people that I knew that did boxing.
Yeah.
Yourself, my friend Saquan,
Yeah.
another guy that I went to school with because I left Wembley High, went
Yeah,
to St.
yeah.
Greg's. Another guy called Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby Woods.
I know Bobby Woods, yeah.
There's only like 3 guys and a couple others that I knew that was doing boxing at the time. Do you know what I mean? I thought of your name, I thought boxing. Do you know what I mean? But now everyone's doing boxing. So, what was the journey? How did you find your first boxing club? Who took you?
It was kind of easy for me because my godmother lived 2 seconds away from All Stars Boxing Club, right? And her and my mum are sort of like best friends. So growing up, we was always in and around All Stars, going to her place and whatnot. So I always knew where All Stars was. So getting back, the first place I wanted to try was All Stars, innit?
But it's funny because it's like if you're from Northwest, 90% of people started at All Stars. Rest in peace to the owner that he died.
Mr. Aka, yeah. Rest in peace, Mr. Aka, yeah.
Because even when I was younger,
Yeah.
I wanted to get into boxing. For some reason,
Yeah.
went straight to All Stars.
Yeah.
And I went with me, my brother, and my mum. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I was like to my mum, I want to get into boxing and stuff.
Yeah.
But from the jump, she just wasn't having it. She was thinking, nah, you're gonna get brain damage. This is and that. It's not safe. You're gonna get hurt. So we had a little meeting with Mr. Akai and stuff. And then she was just trying to say, let them both do boxing, but I don't really want them fighting. He wasn't having that. He wasn't having none of that. And then he was just like, just trust me, come. But my mum was like, nah, you're not going boxing. It's only until later on in life that I've gotten older. I think, how old was I when I kind of started doing the training? Like 18ish.
Okay.
I started back, and then I'm just a keep fitter though.
Okay,
I don't
cool.
get into
Inspired, man. Get inspired in.
Yeah, no. This is, I had a little spar with Mason.
Okay,
Mason
cool,
Smith.
cool.
Did well there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's
cool,
gonna be
man.
watching this. He's
Cool,
gonna want to
cool.
kill me, but it's alright. But what was I saying?
Is that all? You're saying everyone in and around the area?
Yeah, went
started at
straight to
All-Stars.
All Stars. Why
I
did?
think because at the time there weren't many gyms around. Like you said, boxing sort of. I think it was after the Olympics, the 2012 Olympics. Boxing sort of boomed, didn't it? And then
Joshua.
with AJ as well, boxing stock has risen so high. Gyms started popping up. Because I remember when I first started boxing, Stonebridge went around. I remember Wembley Boxing Club was around for a bit. They went around. So in the area, there weren't many gyms around. It was just All Stars that I used to know about. Maybe there was more that I didn't know of, but I only used to know of All Stars.
Okay.
In the area, I know like there were youth as well, but that was a bit out of the way for me.
Okay.
The All Stars was the closest.
That's more west, right?
Yeah. All Stars was the closest. The easiest for me to get to is just the 18 bus at the time, innit? So straight down, and I said, yeah, man. That's that. I think that's why I think All Stars was pretty much the only gym around, in the area. And of course, it's got a legacy behind it as well.
And how long was you at All Stars for then?
I was there for about, I think it was 7 years.
7 years.
I was there for 7 years, yeah, a long time. From I first walked in at 11, and till I was about 17, 18. And then I moved over and started working with my coach now, Xavier Miller, IQ. But yeah, I was at All Stars for a long time. Like,
what would you say, Coach Akai had? What influence would you say he had on you in boxing? What kind of messages would he put out? Rest in peace.
I think Mr. Akai had more of a. He sort of away from boxing, because everyone knows how good of a coach he was. But I think he had more of an impact on the youth walking into the gym, as in stopping them getting into violence on the streets and that, getting them to be a bit more disciplined and staying out of trouble, to be honest. Because I remember the first thing he said to me when I walked in the gym, when I spoke to him and I said I wanted to sign up, he said, listen, first thing I got to tell you is, if I find out you've been fighting at school on the street, you're out.
Yeah.
And from then, that had an impact on me from that moment.
Yeah, that's good, because a lot of kids might go into boxing, get excited and think, I want to test out my skills.
Yeah, exactly. I want to go beat someone at school.
People up.
Exactly, yeah.
But I honestly feel that a lot of you should take up boxing, because there's a thing where I've taken a lot of my friends to boxing training with me, and before they come, they think they can fight. Yeah, they put on the gloves and then they're on the bag, and they feel lost. They don't know what they're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, alright, cool. You get to the point where you're sparring, and you get into the ring, and then at first you might be getting punched up. But what are you gonna do when you're getting punched up? Get more angry that you're getting punched up. There's nothing you can do. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
You gotta try and discipline yourself to try and get better. Do you know what I mean? And you learn that control.
It's true. They say that the easiest way to find out about yourself is to get in the ring.
Yeah, trust me.
And then that's how you find out about yourself.
And the funniest thing is about getting in the ring, I find like when I was first starting out, that a 3-minute round is harder than a whole complete session when you're first starting out. Trust me, you're knackered. Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Coach Akai. So that was a message that he was trying to give the youth and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, what made you leave?
Gotta remember now. I think it got to a point where I feel like I needed a change within myself.
Yeah.
I was sort of at a point where I'd finished college as well, and I started working at the time, and I was already finding it hard to get to All Stars, because at the time they started training. I think it was 5:30, and for me to get from where I was working, it was getting a bit too much for me. So I started looking for other gyms in the area. And then local. Neeson came up, IQ was there, Stonebridge was there, but I'd known Zav from around the circuit from before, and I like the way his boxers used to box, and I felt like me and Zav used to clicked anyway. Whenever I see him, it was always cool. Yeah. So I said, you know what, let me go down there and.
So you moved to Stonebridge or to Neeson straight?
I moved to Neeson.
Okay. Straight to Neeson.
Straight to Neeson. Okay. No, I went straight to Neeson.
And how was that? How did you find? Well, because obviously Zav was at Stonebridge first, right? And he set up his own gym. How was that? Like, did you have faith in it? Because obviously, in boxing, you might go to a club and there's a nice gym, rings and stuff, bags, and he's just said, you know what, I'm gonna start my own gym. Credit to him.
Yeah.
Round of applause for that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And the facilities might not have been as good as what you're used to, but you took that leap of faith. How did you feel, like, emotionally? Like, was you certain that this was the right move?
Yeah, I think I was, because there's a thing where when I first moved there, I hadn't experienced coaching or teaching the way Zav does. So it was just totally different. I mean, he'd break down, he'd video my sparring, break it down to milliseconds and say, look at your posture here, and look at your posture there. Stuff that I've never seen before. And on top of that, me and Zav just work easy together from the start.
And I can't lie, like, I've been there when you and Zav's had your sessions and stuff, and I've had my sessions with Nick, and I've seen how different Zav is compared to other boxing coaches. Like, the things he works on, like, a lot of coaches just work on the attack and all that kind of stuff. But I see him working on your defense, making you look slippery and stuff like that. When working on different things that I don't see a lot of boxing coaches doing it. So I just want to give him credit for that, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, because you was with Zav, you did well. Tell us more about how you felt your amateur career actually went. Did you do well in competitions?
Funny enough, when I first went to work with Zav at Neeson, my first fight, I had my first fight with Neeson. I won, and then I won, I think it was 13 on the bounce.
Okay.
So I went a whole season and a half without losing.
Okay. And
then obviously we went into the ABAs or the elites, whatever they call it now. But yeah, I mean,
how'd you do in that?
I got to the Northwest final.
Okay.
I boxed Jack Brook in the Northwest final. I lost on points.
Okay.
But leading up to that, I think the 13 on the bounce, it just showed that me and Zav just clicked, and you know, I say this was the place. If I'm winning 13 in a row, and you know, I'm looking forward to training every session, and it just felt right. You know what I mean? And I see what you said about the equipment and all that as well. I mean, one thing I've always stuck to me about it is the best Olympic boxers are Cuban, right? And I watched a couple of documentaries about the boxers in Cuba and how they live and that. And sometimes, I watched a documentary, right? And they were following this little boxer around, and he was going, all right, I'm going to the gym now because he finished school. And then the reporters following him, expecting him to walk into an actual gymnasium with bags and whatnot. But he walked into the park. And his coach is there training them in the park. Yeah. And he's using flip-flops as pads. Oh, and some of them he ain't even got gloves in it. So if people,
they can make it work,
if they can become Olympic champions, world champions if they turn pro, then.
And I want to say, I feel like I've been to a lot of boxing clubs, seen and stuff like that. But I can't lie, even though it might not be the biggest gym and stuff, the coaching there is second to none. I've been to Neeson Boxing Club, and I can vouch for it, that the coaching there and the things that they drill into the fighters, wicked.
The most important thing is I think now in boxing, and I don't blame Floyd.
And sorry, also you feel safe as well. Because I've been to boxing clubs, and I'm just starting out. And I've been told to spar this guy that's been boxing for years, and this guy is my size, a bit bigger than me, a bit older than me, and I'm just shook. Do you know what I mean? But Neeson, they take care of the new fighters, and match up things level and keep an eye on you, because it's easy to get knocked out.
It's easy.
Do you know what I mean?
Trust me, it's easy, man. I mean, it's true. Like, going back to what you said, I think in boxing now, because of social media and because of a lot of YouTube videos going up now, there's become a sort of culture of, if someone knows how to do flashy pads, it gives them a pass as being a good coach. Do you know what I mean? They see Floyd do what he does on a media day, and then take that to be good training. Like, you're not gonna learn how to box like James Toney or Floyd Mayweather by doing that. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot more to it that they don't see. But obviously my coach Zav and everyone at Neeson, everything's based on teaching. You know, everything's teaching. There's nothing flashy there. It's all substance, man. It's not just all flashy pads, and we're actually learning every time we go in.
I can believe that. Did you have any ambitions to fight for GB?
To be honest with you, not really.
Nah, why?
When I first walked into All Stars all the years ago, my mind was always set on being a professional. the whole Olympic thing didn't appeal to me. Now, I'm not saying if they didn't offer it to me, I wouldn't take it, but it never really appealed to me to be an Olympic boxer, and I always wanted to be a pro.
Okay.
I grew up watching professional boxing, and
True.
even I remember when I was young, I mean, all the coaches used to get onto me for having a pro style. They used to say, your style's too pro, you need to start doing this and that. My whole amateur career, that's how it was. So, you know what I mean? I always wanted to be pro.
That leads me on to my next question perfectly. How have you found the transition from amateur to pro stylistically as a fighter?
Stylistically, in terms of boxing, I found it easy.
Easy.
I found it easy. Because I always taught myself to box like the pros.
For those that don't know, explain like the point system in the amateurs and how like you could win a point just by touching gloves and stuff like that. Just by the jab.
So when I first started the amateurs, it was the old school system where each punch you land clean will be a point.
Yeah.
And that sort of led to a lot of people boxing like fencing, a lot of bouncing and fencing and all that kind of stuff. Whereas pro boxing is more flat-footed and more about damage and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I always tried to box as a pro. I always used to watch pro boxers and try to emulate what I saw on the TV.
Yeah.
When I was, whether it was Pacquiao or Floyd or wherever it was, I was always trying to watch pros. And like I say, whenever I walked into the gym, the coach used to get onto me and say, "Oh, your style's too pro. You're not going to do this as an amateur." But mind you, when I went to Zav, that never happened.
Okay.
So
he embraced it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I felt, you know, it was the perfect team. So, but yeah, man. I mean, what was I saying again? I forgot.
No, I was asking you about how you find the transition stylistically.
Yeah, I think the transition was easy because I always had the pro style, and I always felt like in the amateurs, because the fights were so short, I had to come out of my comfort zone and throw more punches than what I was comfortable throwing. Because you only got 3-minute rounds or 3-2s if you're in development. So I always felt out of my comfort zone. But as going pro and I've got 4 threes or 6 threes or 10 or 12, I can take my time more, and you can sort of break someone down as the rounds go along. Yeah. Set up shots as the round go along. Whereas amateurs, you can't do that. You've got 6 minutes at the most. Yeah. So it's like a sprint.
What's the longest fight you've had? What's the longest fight so far?
6 rounds.
6 rounds now?
6 rounds, yeah.
Okay. And would you say it's been a struggle being a pro? Like, in terms of everything? Ticket sales? Mentally?
I'd say the boxing transition was easy.
Yeah.
But the business side
of it, the business side of the boxing
was a whole different story. I mean...
Can you elaborate?
Cool, yeah, of course. I mean, my first fight, I sold a hell of a lot of tickets. Yeah. It was easy. Everyone wanted to buy. At one point, I didn't have any tickets to sell. I had to wait for the promoter to send me some more to sell on. Yeah. So that went really well. Like, I made a little bit of change from it and all that. But then, as you probably know, as it goes along, everyone that came to the first fight ain't gonna come to the second fight. Yeah. And
let's talk about that, because we're from London, England, and the main sport here is football. So growing up, everyone wants to be a footballer. Yeah. And you know, once you're 16 and you get past that, get the schoolboys and stuff like that, and you sign that pro contract, you're nice. You might even be on a $2,000 a week. Some guys at bigger clubs might be on a $5,000 a week if they're good enough. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like that for boxing. It's not so glamorous money wise. Do you know what I mean? So explain to the people how it's different in boxing. How you have to you're your own business essentially. Do you know what I mean? If you don't sell tickets, you're not making any money. And even if you do sell tickets, you still might not make money.
Yeah, because boxing is to simply put it, boxing is a business. So the revenue is bums on seats in the arena. So if you set up a fight between me and someone else, the revenue is gonna come from ticket sales, right? Yeah. So we, the boxers, have to sell the tickets to create revenue for the show, and sometimes our opponent's money comes out of what we sell, and all sorts of cuts come out of it. So we only make money after we sell a certain amount. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm not because that's just how
the game goes.
That's just how the game goes, isn't it? It's just you got to sell the tickets. That's how much you need to sell. That's just how it goes. But
so just so people have a clearer understanding, after you've paid for your opponent, paid for your manager's fee and all that kind of stuff, on average, not yourself, but on average, what could a professional boxer be looking at in the early stages of his career financially?
depends boxer to boxer. I
Mhm.
mean, someone who can average about 100 tickets
Mm.
might make $1,000.
Yeah.
I know someone who sold about 300 and made 10 grand.
Mhm.
And there's also people that's made more. So
Mhm.
it totally depends on you as a boxer. But
Mhm.
it's a good thing to know now if you're an amateur boxer now to start working on that sort of stuff now. Don't
Mhm.
wait till you go pro to work on it. Work on it
Mhm.
now. Build your following now.
Because what people
Yeah.
need to also understand is, all right, cool. Let's say you did well and you made $3,000 profit from selling tickets.
Mm.
Your next fight's not until a couple of months' time.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So that $3,000's got to last you till. Do you know what I mean?
It's
People
true.
don't see that. So a
It's
lot
true.
of professional boxers, like yourself, I think you work
Yeah,
full
yeah.
time as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot of effort that has to go in behind the scenes to
Mm.
even make this thing work.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like working 2 jobs.
It's true. It's like with anything really. I mean, it's like with being an entrepreneur, like with being someone studying. It's hard at first, isn't it? But you always
Mhm.
got to have that belief that one day you're gonna get to where you want to be.
Mhm.
So you've got to go through the hard bits and whatnot
Mhm.
to get there eventually.
Mhm.
And it all makes sense anyway, because if you want to get to the big stage of boxing, you can't
Mhm.
get to the big stage of boxing and sell 10 tickets.
Mhm.
Them man are selling out O2 and MGM Grand and Wembley Stadium. So it's just part of the process.
Mhm.
You got to build your following, and it's hard at first, but it has to be done.
Okay.
There's no way you can't box and not sell them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's how it goes.
So how have you, like you said, your first fight,
Mm.
no problem selling tickets, and as
Mhm.
time's gone on, you've had 9 fights in your
I've had
unbeaten.
9, yeah.
Yeah, and it's become a bit difficult as
Mhm.
time's gone on.
Yeah, it gets harder. It depends what time of year. I think it gets harder, but I mean, you just gotta. I'm lucky because I have like a set. I think it's about 60 or 70 people
Mm.
that, regardless of when the fight is or where the fight is or who I'm fighting,
They're there.
they're there regardless. So
Mhm.
you know, their support is I'm so grateful for them. I mean,
Mhm.
even if they can't make it, sometimes they'll buy the ticket anyway.
Okay.
They'll say, "Listen, here's money for 2. Put it towards it." So they sort of get me over the line most of the time.
Mhm.
And I've also got 2 good sponsors behind me as well that help me out a lot. So
Who are they?
I've got Tiger Bay Shisha Lounge in Kingsbury and Hanger Lane,
Yeah.
and I've got KMT Apparel, who
Okay.
we've started working with as well.
So for those amateurs that are thinking to make that transition to
Mm.
become pro, how do you go about getting these sponsors?
Speaking to them really.
Mhm.
You got to just come out of your comfort zone, and like they say, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Mhm.
So don't be afraid to ask people. Just go out there, ask people. Do everything you need to do yourself, which is like building your social media account,
Mhm.
doing what you need to do in terms of that, and then just go out there. If you don't ask, you don't get. So give it a go, man.
Has boxing ever made you feel like giving up? Like the whole process of selling tickets, just the business side of it? Because I know you love the sport, but the business side.
I wouldn't say giving up. I'd say more. It's made me want to take a break one or 2 times,
Mhm.
but for me, all I have to do is remember what boxing can eventually do for me.
Yeah.
If you look at guys at the top, you look at Andy Ruiz, for example.
Yeah.
Right. If you see the way he's living now,
Compared to
to
the Joshua fight.
exactly, his life changed in an evening, and
Yeah.
he weren't even the
Within an hour.
original opponent.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So if boxing can do that, I've got to give it my all. You've got to go through hard times to get to the top. So
I'm sure you will, yeah.
and it's just, if I ever feel that way, I just say to myself, listen, sometimes you got to take a loss to make a gain, and just go through it, and one day it'll be all right. So yeah.
Do you have any advice for people that are just starting out, had their first fight done well, second fight they're struggling? What kind of tips could you give them to sell more tickets?
All right, I'm gonna say something. No, I think a lot of boxers complain about the ticket situation, but don't do enough about it.
Okay.
So a lot of people say, I can't sell no tickets, but won't be doing nothing to go out and try and sell some more tickets.
Okay.
For example, going out and meeting new people. Do you know what I'm saying? Going out and meeting new people, being more sociable, social media.
Yeah.
You've got to do something, innit? If there's a will, there's a way. Then if you really want to sell those tickets, you will sell them. Do you know what I mean? There's loads of ways you can do it. So if you're struggling to sell them, don't give up straight away. Just have a sit down, think about what things you can do. Just think about what things you can do to sell those tickets you've got on you, because
Mm.
there's always ways to do it.